after testimony of people who were impacted physically and mentally by the coal ash. This song came as an inspiration of those testimonies. So I'll call to you, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on, and your response is far too long. Yes, it's gone on.
Far too long.
It's gone on.
Far too long.
Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
Now the end is, and we won't be silent anymore. We'll say that together.
And we won't be silent anymore.
Okay? And so we'll try the rehearsal version, which goes, oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
Yes, it's gone on.
Far too long.
I tell you it's gone on.
Far too long.
Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
Together, and we won't be silent anymore. Now we're gonna put a little rhythm to this, okay? Okay, we're gonna speed it up a little bit. Not too fast. Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
Yes, it's gone on.
Far too long.
It's gone on.
Far too long.
Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
And we
Won't be silent anymore.
somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
It's gone on.
Far too long.
It's gone on. Somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
And we
Won't be silent anymore.
Did you hear somebody's crossing of water, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
Gone on.
Far too long.
It's gone on. Somebody's crossing of water, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
And we
Won't be silent anymore.
Have you heard somebody wants to build that wall, y'all, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
And we
Won't be silent anymore.
anymore.
And we won't be silent anymore.
And we won't.
And we won't be silent anymore. And we won't be silent anymore.
Testimony after testimony.
Hi, welcome everybody. My name is Pauline Pisano. I'm one of the cultural arts workers of the New York State Poor People's Campaign. I'm very excited about this event. We are going to get grounded in song. We have a lovely long program and we have some lyrics that we're going to share. So Lily, if you could pull up that slide. We're going to sing the song together. Which Side Are You On? The lyrics were written, the song was written by Florence Reese, and we adopted some of the lyrics for the New York State Poor People's Campaign here. Okay, so we're gonna get in where we fit in. Thank you, Lily. Amazing. Okay. Ella Baker was was a freedom fighter and she taught me how to fight. We're gonna fight all day and night until we get it right. Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? General Baker was a freedom fighter and he taught me how to fight. We're gonna fight all day and night until we get it right. Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Come on, you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how a fusion movement has come in here to dwell. Woo! Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? They're reaping the profits, they fill our heads with lies. The corporate profiteers don't care if we live or die. Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Oh, come on, you good people, the poor, the whole world round. Don't you hear the jubilee? Oh, what a mighty sound. Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? We're on the freedom side. Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Pauline. What a great way to get us grounded in this moment. I'd like us to take a moment to acknowledge that the lands that we are gathering on today across this state are the ancestral lands of Indigenous peoples. These include the Shinnecock Nation of Long Island, the Lenape, the Mohican, and the Six Nations of the Iroquois Confederacy, or the Haudenosaunee, the Mohawks, the Oneidas, the Onondagas, the Cayugas, the Senecas, and the Tuscaroras. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that enable us to be here today and compels us to work together for justice and equity for all people. Welcome to our program. Please remember to try to keep yourself muted if you're not in a speaking role. That way we don't take away from anybody who is speaking for the program. I would like to really thank the politicians and legislators who have joined us tonight, the media, and of course, our concerned community members. The Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival, tells us that this fight is not about red versus blue or Republican versus Democrat, but right versus wrong. We are reminded of the powerful words of Frederick Douglass when he said, "Power never concedes anything without a demand. It never has, and it never will." As such, one of the goals of this campaign is to make sure that we lift up all of the voices of the impoverished, the oppressed, and the 140 million who are poor and low wealth in the richest country to ever exist. Let's take a moment to consider the demands made by the Poor People's Campaign. Lily?
Everybody has a right to live health care. Everybody. Don't stop.
The Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival, has come up with a series of demands. And I want you to say those demands after I say them.
I know that you are here for the same reasons we all are here, to put our elected official on notice. We demand an immediate restoration of the Voting Rights Act. We demand an end to racist gerrymandering. We demand a reversal of state laws that prevent municipalities from raising minimum wage. We demand a just immigration system. We demand a timely citizenship process that guarantees everyone the right to vote.
We demand an end to military aggression and warmongering. We demand a stop to privatization of military budget and any increase in military spending. We demand a ban on assault rifles and a ban on the easy access of firearms. We demand an end to federal programs that send military equipment into local and state communities. We demand that the call to build a wall at the U.S.-Mexico border be ceased.
We demand a ban on fracking, mountaintop removal, coal mining, coal ash ponds, and offshore drilling. We demand a ban on all new pipelines, refineries, and coal, oil, and gas export terminals.
We demand an immediate implementation of federal and state living wage laws. We demand the right for all workers to form and join unions. We demand equal pay for equal work. We demand a guaranteed annual income. We demand fully funded anti-poverty programs that protects the welfare of us all. We demand decent housing. We demand free tuition. We demand free tuition. We demand equity in education. We demand an end to the resegregation of schools. We demand equitable funding for historically black colleges and universities. We demand relief from crushing household, student, and consumer debt. We demand the repeal of the 2017 federal tax law. And we demand that the wealthy and corporations pay their fair share. We believe that we can win. We believe that we can win. We believe that we can win. We believe that everybody has a right to live.
I want you to know that when hands that once picked cotton join hands of Latinos, join hands of progressive whites, join faith hands and labor hands and Asian hands and Native American hands and poor hands and wealthy hands with a conscience and gay hands and straight hands and trans hands and Christian hands and Jewish hands and Muslim hands and Hindu hands and Buddhist hands. When we all get together, we are an instrument of redemption. When we join hands, we can revive and make sure that the promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and equal protection under the law is never taken away from anybody. So I got a question. Are the rejected ready to revive and declare that this land is your land? This land is elected are going to demand that this nation never give up on being one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I just love that video. That is so, so powerful. And that's what this program is about. This program is about making those demands sound loud and proud as policy platform. We believe that in this moment, we are required to remember the words of our founding fathers as they crafted the Constitution of the United States. Several members of the Southern Tier have gathered together to remind us the premises of this document. Lily, could we listen to the preamble to the Constitution?
The people of the United States.
We, the people of the United States.
We, the people of the United States.
We, the people of the United States.
What is to form a more perfect union?
Establish justice.
Ensure domestic tranquility.
Provide for the common defense.
And promote the general welfare.
And secure the blessings of liberty.
Ourselves and our posterity.
Do ordain and establish
this Constitution for the United States.
This Constitution for the United States of America.
Thank you. The Poor People's Campaign has crafted the Moral Justice Jubilee policy platform as a way of operationalizing the shift in narrative that we are demanding. Tonight, we will go through the 5 segments of the policy platform as they are interpreted through the preamble. We will tie those to real stories of impacted people in their communities. We do not endorse candidates because we believe that it is our expectation that we will know who to vote for based on who's with us and who's not. Many of tonight's testimonies are personal stories and experiences and don't make one particular policy demand. The point is that we are not here to advocate for a few policy changes here and there. What we demand is that the government fulfill the responsibilities as written in the Constitution. The Jubilee policy platform of the Poor People's Campaign takes these testimonies and asks, what does it mean to promote the general welfare of all of our people? What does it mean that everyone has the right to thrive in this nation of abundance? Some of the testimonies we'll hear from tonight are from outside of this particular Southern Tier area, but still within New York. But we feel strongly that they should be included because their stories and experiences are very similar to those in this region. Our program is split into 5 sections, representing the 5 promises made in the preamble of the Constitution of this nation, and representing the 5 policy sections found in the Poor People's Campaign Moral Justice Jubilee policy platform. You can find a link to the program in the chat in just a minute. This contains more information about the presenters that we have gathered here tonight. Now please sit back and hear the words of the prophets who live in this land. Lily, section 1, please.
Establish justice.
Establish justice.
Establish justice.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tim Shank. I am a member of the New York State Poor People's Campaign Coordinating Committee. It's great to be with everyone tonight. The first section, as we said, of the Poor People's Moral Justice Jubilee platform is to establish justice and end systemic racism, the right to democracy and equal protection under the law. First, we're going to hear from the Reverend Holly Hale Thompson. Lily, can you please cue the video for Holly? Thank you.
Akwe. I'm a Shinnecock Indian. My traditional territory is Eastern Long Island, New York. I am currently staying in Akwesasne territory with my husband's family for the COVID-19 isolation. I am pleased to tell part of my story today. It has always been the responsibility of our people to be land protectors, grave protectors, water protectors. Thefts of land, historically and in the present, continues with the full support of national, state, and local governments. As high as the U.S. Supreme Court, whence the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg wrote the 2005 decision against the Oneida Nation of New York, citing U.S. American Indian law based on the doctrine of discovery, which granted beginning in the 15th century and apparently continues to dispossess indigenous peoples from our own land and sovereign rights over our Indian land. Among my Mohawk relatives, pollution of rivers, waterways, and land continues to affect the ecosystems, plants, fish, animal, and necessarily human life, causing illnesses and many varieties of cancer in the Akwesasne community. Among my Shinnecock family, our lands and waters are polluted. Our groundwater was irrevocably poisoned in the 1970s, and the cancer rates and varieties of cancers are killing our community members at an alarming rate. Runoff from golf courses and estates whose chemicals travel right to our small reservation is pollution created by and for the financial benefit of non-Shinnecocks who hold stolen land and now abuse those lands. We are not only dispossessed of use of our Aboriginal territory, the few acres we retain are now a cancer hotspot, dangerous to us and to our descendants. The Shinnecock cannot freely access our Shinnecock Hills, a sacred place where ancient burials are desecrated and unearthed with shameful regularity by proponents of dangerous overdevelopment, including business people and town and county officials who issue the building permits. Shinnecock children and their families experienced the agony of residential and boarding schools, children forcibly taken from their families and community, to the violent ordeal of cultural genocide, all manner of abuse and trauma. In the statistics among the American Indian, the last U.S. Census confirmed that the average household income for a Shinnecock is $14,000 annually. This while surrounded by one of the wealthiest communities in the world. The Potawatomi Medicine Lodge, or PML Circle, is a group of Shinnecocks who established our prayer group to be one of action, helping to address the substandard housing in our reservation community. 4 of our earliest houses, rehab and replacements, were for Shinnecock mothers and grandmothers raising children, 2 of which had no modern plumbing. One grandmother used to get up in the night if it were storming outside to make sure the rain wasn't coming through the roof falling on the grandchild. Another grandmother used to have to draw water from a hand pump in the yard, but was unable because of her health to haul that heavy bucket back into the house. These stories sound like they're from the 1700s or 1820s or 1920s, but these families in crisis are living right now in our reservation community. Racism, prejudice, fear, hate, politics, and despair play a mighty strong role in keeping Native people in dangerous and desperate circumstances, and it creates and supports generational poverty. But my friends, when one has little to lose, there isn't any point in keeping quiet No point in suffering in silence. When Native people are not given justice, then those in power are not telling the truth when they say they believe in a God of justice. The rights of our people to our lands and to our sovereignty, the right to our own languages and spiritual practices, the right to trust treaties and agreements made with governments must be recognized and honored and protected in order for peace to ever be ours. This is all I have to say. Aho.
Reverend Thompson, thank you for your words. Thank you for speaking up and speaking out consistently. Appreciate you. Our next testimony is going to be from Mr. Sabri Alawauda. He is a resident of Ithaca, New York, and we'll play his video now.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sabri Alawauda, and I live in Cincinnati, Ohio for the last 15 years. My wife, she's from Cincinnati, and I have 4 beautiful kids. I went back to Palestine back in 2018. I stayed there for like a year and a half. And when I decided to come back, COVID-19, hit the whole world. So I don't have way to get back. So after 6 months, 7 months, I contacted the Palestinian government and the Jordanian government. They let me in after struggling. And I went to JFK, New York airport. And it was most of the people in the airplane, like all American white people. And I have a couple Middle Eastern guys was in the airplane. But my story started when my airplane landed in JFK. And you could see, I'm American citizenship since 2015. And I went to I went out of the airplane, I went inside the airport, and I scanned my passport in one of the machines, and it printed me a big piece of papers. It got there, and she said, could you please just wait? And I told her, wait for what? And she said, please wait. So I wait, and another immigration officer, he came in, and he take me to a big room. And I look at the room, and I have 5 people from the airplane, they was with us in the airplane. And he there is an officer, he came and he started investigating me. Like, he started asking me question, why you left the state? Why you lived there for 2 years? Where you going? And who's your friend you want to stay with? And give me your name in Facebook. Give me your email address, your wife name in Facebook. And the lady you want to stay with her. Why you not going back to Cincinnati? Why you want to stay in New York? He keep asking me some questioning, like, did you ever been in military camp? Did you live Israel? Did you went anywhere? And I keep telling him, why you ask me this question as a citizenship? One of my right to, if I carry this passport, you are there to hold me. I feel really not safe, and I feel racism because you ask me this question, me and another 5 guy, which is, ask the rest of the airplane. The rest of the people that was in the airplane. And he said, no, it's just some kind of routine. We have to, get some information. And I just told him, my right as American citizenship. I live wherever I want to live, but I decide to come back to the country. And you are there to help me to get inside the country, especially after COVID-19. I can't even find a job in West Bank. Like, I feel like racism, it's up, even if, even if you are having a citizenship or you are American citizenship. And that's my story. And thank you very much for everybody.
Thank you, Sabri. Part 1 of the Poor People's Jubilee Platform has 7 points. Number 1, protect and expand the right to vote. Number 2, protect and honor the rights of First Nations, Indigenous, and Native people. Number 3, end police brutality and mass incarceration. Redirect resources toward impacted communities. Establish a National Truth Commission. Number 4, protect immigrant communities and recognize their role in our society. Number 5, protect democratically elected leadership from being undermined by unelected emergency financial managers who are brought in to resolve budget shortfalls. Number 6, secure quality, equitable, and diverse public education for all and protect public education. Number 7, relieve student debt and provide free college for all. Thank you.
Now we will see the video for section 2. We laid a pretty heavy burden on Lily tonight. We really appreciate her being able to help us with this.
Promote the general welfare.
Promote the general welfare.
Promote the general welfare.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lindsay Lyman. I'm coming to you from just outside Ithaca, New York. And section 2 is promote the general welfare, the right to welfare, and an adequate standard of living. In this section, we are first going to hear from Reverend Olivia Armstrong.
I'm on Social Security disability, and the government makes you think that it's an entitlement check, but it's not. That check that I get for my disability, I worked for. So that's the money that I worked, and they took out Social Security. They take out Social Security, I know, all the time. Disability, I worked for that money. So when I went back to work about 2005, as a counselor, I was a drug counselor. I know you gotta let Social Security know that you're working. So they have different programs. So this particular program that they have is that they allow you to work and you can keep your check. So that March, me from past, I went down, I filled out all the paperwork in March and make sure you make copies now, and make sure you know who you gave them to, the date, the time and place. So I filled it. So, you know, time was going by. They were still sending me my disability check every month. And that's what they're supposed to do, because you asked permission already. Can you participate in this sustainable living or something? Because you saving money for a car, for an apartment, for a house, so you could be on your own. So that's what I did. So I'm thinking, I haven't heard from them, so they still sending me checks. So about September, I called them in order to verify that they got my information. And so from March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 6 months, they were sending me checks. And I think I had accumulated like only $5,000 in 6 months. So when I called them in September, oh, you're not supposed to be receiving no check. Oh, you're not supposed to be getting no money. And they cut me off right then and there. I'm like, what? You didn't, I'm calling you. I thought I was in the program. You're supposed to get back to me. I took the paperwork down personally. I took paperwork personally to the office. And I didn't hear, so I'm doing y'all a courtesy. I'm calling to confirm that everything is all right, because I was still getting a check. Nobody said nothing. And y'all just cut, so I had to fight. I had to go to court and fight so they could reimburse my money and stop taking my money. That's just one of the samples. I'm saying there's other people who might not be up on or know as much or as intelligent I am, and they'll snatch your money quick, and no matter how much you fight, you won't get reimbursed. So this is to tell people, check your paperwork and fight them. I had to take them to court 3 times. And the last one for the $5,000, I won. Yay, but how could I lose? I had the paperwork right there. And a lot of people don't know that you could take them to court, you know, and fight for your rights.
Thank you, Reverend, for sharing about your experiences and for being such an advocate for yourself. Next, we're going to hear from Marcus Bellows.
Establish justice. My name is Marcus Bellows. I have primary progressive multiple sclerosis. Currently, I have about 20 lesions on my brain, 10 lesions on each side. Even with that, we're still denied for us if I establish justice.
Incredible, you can get denied with that experience. And finally, we're going to hear from Jackie Bogart, who is a resident of Tioga County.
Establish justice. My name is Marcus Bellows.
Hi, my name is Jackie Bogart. I am a single mother of 4. 3 of them are grown and out of the household, and I have one. He's about to be 10 years old, still living here. He receives free lunch at school, and at the end of the last school year that there was a PBT that had been made available to families whose children receive free or reduced lunch at school. So I was really looking forward to these funds. I'm still waiting for them. I still haven't gotten them. I'm not sure why. Well, I didn't currently receive SNAP at the time, so I didn't have an active card. I've called my local DSS, and they don't know anything about it. I've called a pandemic EBT number, and they couldn't tell me anything about it. I have emailed many people. I've never heard anything back. I've asked questions everywhere I know to ask, and I just can't get any answers. And you know, I really could use that benefit. And we're now in the next school year, and I'm still waiting on these funds from last school year. And there's one more thing I want to mention is that I was 19 and I had a son, my oldest son, and I was going to college, and I was a single mother then, and I was on public assistance. And I soon, after starting college, got word from them that I needed to get a job. They were not willing to support me while I was in college. I tried to do both. I tried to work and go to school, and I just couldn't do it. And I had no choice but to quit college so that I could continue to work that minimum wage job and satisfy DSS. And so rather than them support me for 2 to 4 years and allow me to become self-sufficient, they did not. And I took that minimum wage job, and I have struggled for my entire life. And not only that, but I have depended on the system ever since. So it just seems kind of backwards. I'm in AmeriCorps Vista, and I'm technically a federal volunteer, but I don't get a paycheck. I get a very small stipend, which is about half of what minimum wage is. So I really could have used that benefit, and I don't know if it's coming. I don't know if it's gone, if it's someone else mistakenly got it. I don't know what happened, and I can't get any answers, and I feel like nobody really cares. I feel like we have been forgotten, and we're hungry, you know, and you know, it hurts to be hungry. So I wish someone would listen.
We're all listening to you tonight, Jackie. Jackie's an incredible advocate for herself and her family, and appreciate you sharing as well, Jackie. These are just a few examples of the folks who are being denied their right to welfare, for whom the system is not working, for whom they, you know, are not receiving that to which they are entitled. And there's, you know, many, many more across our region and across this country that are experiencing a similar injustice. To review, in part 2, we have for promote the general welfare, the right to welfare, and an adequate standard of living. We have 3 main pillars: change the poverty measure to reflect current conditions, establish a universal and guaranteed adequate income, and redefine welfare as a right that strengthens our society. Protect and expand Social Security, supplemental security income, and Social Security disability insurance, and secure housing for all. This we demand.
Great job, Lindsay. Thank you very much. And next we will be moving into section 3, ensure domestic tranquility.
Ensure domestic tranquility.
Ensure domestic tranquility.
And ensure domestic tranquility.
I think you're still muted, Mary Kay.
Hi, I'm Mary Kay Jackie Tay, and I'll be introducing the next speakers. First, we have Tracy Beckham and Maggie Phillips from SEIU.
Do we have SEIU in the room? All right, why don't we introduce Yolanda and we'll see if they are in by the time Yolanda is finished. We're going to welcome Yolanda Josephs.
Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Yolanda Josephs. I am an active essential worker in Tompkins County, both in the hospitality and the educational field. I am also a mother and a wife. I'm also an active volunteer, a long time for Tompkins Worker Center. And I've heard so many testimonies and injustice, things you don't even hear about most of the time. And what I mostly, I think I'm having a little trouble. I see my internet is going wacky. I hope I'm back on.
We've been hearing you pretty well, I think.
Okay, thank you. For the injustice, you know, for as workers, and I've worked for companies and major corporations, even here in Ithaca, you know, so to fight for equality, to fight for justice, even for myself. I remember one employer that I worked for didn't know that I was, I guess, an intelligent person to know that I had rights to be able to work. So in one case, it was not being treated fairly as being an employee, as being a woman, so to speak. Never invited, and I was assistant manager, not invited to any of the manager meetings. It took one of my cashiers to call me to tell me they were having a meeting in order for me to actually come and just walk in on a meeting. And the general manager said, I thought you couldn't make them to the meetings. I said, that wasn't the case. I never said I couldn't make it to a meeting. He said, well, this was told to me. I said, that was not the case. I said, you can call me and I will come to all the meetings. And that's how that got disbarred with that situation. And I actually had to wind up suing them because of unfair treatment as being a woman. And not only that, but being a woman of color as well. Being the first African-American to work for that company and corporation in that store, It was a groundbreaker. But I want people to know that Tompkins Worker Center here in Ithaca, New York, is a nonprofit organization that will help you reach out. We have a hotline that you can call. So if you ever feel injustice, no justice, I should say, or unfairly treated, you can call us and we will be your voice if you need one. I had 3 minutes. I was just trying to keep it short and sweet, but just to let everybody know that we're here for you. Tompkins Worker Center, Ithaca, New York is here for you as well.
That's awesome, Yolanda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yolanda. It's so good to know that these services are available for people. I know that they're just so needed, and everyone does deserve the right to work.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to take you through part 3 of the Poor People's Jubilee Flat Platform, Ensure Domestic Tranquility, the Right to Work with Dignity. 1, update the unemployment measure and expand unemployment coverage. 2, institute living wages and economic security for all workers. 3, establish the Jubilee Jobs Program, a federal jobs program to secure full employment as a right. 4, secure the right to free association and the right to form and join unions.
And real quick, just before we hop to that video, are the SEIU reps in the room yet? I just wanted to give you one more chance. These are folks that worked at Highland Park Nursing in the Western Southern tier and had some hard-hitting stories for us about what it's like to work in a nursing home in a pandemic and what it's like when you don't have enough PPE and protections all overall. So unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to be able to get their story tonight. That's too bad, but we will look forward to working with them in the future. Why don't we go ahead to section 4, secure the blessings of liberty.
And secure the blessings of liberty.
And secure the blessings of liberty.
And secure the blessings of liberty.
Hi, I'm Peaches Gillette. I have been in Ithaca for about 4 years. I am embedded in the Poor People's Campaign, and I do race relation workshops wherever anyone needs me to do it. I would like to introduce our first testifier, who will be Heather Witten.
Heather, are you in the room with us?
Oh.
I am in the room.
Oh, great.
Beautiful.
Whenever you're ready, Heather.
I just need somebody to turn my video back on.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. I think we got it. Okay.
Oh, great.
So just flip back just a little, flip it back a little bit. There you go. Okay. So as Peaches said, my name is Heather Witten, but my name isn't important tonight. The name that's important is Cristobal Gomez. And Cristobal is someone that I knew very well. I worked alongside of him for 11 years on my family's dairy farm in southern Cayuga County. And regardless of what anyone will say about the agricultural industry looking at people of color as a commodity, that was not the case on my farm, and it will never be the case on my farm, because yes, these are essential workers, but these are also essential people. And I will tell you that from my personal experience, they have a heart of gold. Cristobal was a wonderful, hardworking man. He was someone who came to America to ensure a better life for his own family back in Guatemala. and he gave up his ability to see them all the time so that he could send money and support his family as well as his extended family. And while he was here, he became part of our family. And in mid-March or late March, Cristobal got sick. And I know where all your minds are going right now, and that's exactly what happened. Cristobal had some COVID-type symptoms. We took him to an urgent care facility, we being my family, my husband and my in-laws. And what I can tell you is that for some reason, the advice and the procedure and the standard of care was different for Cristobal than it was for either of my in-laws or my husband, who went to the same place. Cristobal came home, he took some time off and rested, seemed to be a little better, and a couple days later, he went downhill very quickly. My mother-in-law took him to the emergency room, and because of their COVID policies, no one was allowed in with him. Cristobal spoke very good English. He had been here in the United States for a while. He was actually at a higher school level in Guatemala than most before he came to America. But despite that, we live in a world where I have to wonder and I have to worry and I have to ask myself if he was treated the same way that I would have been if I had been in that hospital. Just because he doesn't look like me, or he may not speak the same way that I do. He was in that hospital for 36 hours. He was transferred to Syracuse. He was put on a ventilator for 6 days. And after that, he was removed from life support and is no longer with us. We live in this type of world and we can do better. Please do the right thing. Remember people like Cristobal and treat them as humans, because it doesn't matter what the color of their skin or their nationality is. We all deserve to be treated like people. We all deserve to have a healthy environment, and we all deserve the same access to healthcare. And I miss my friend every day. And unfortunately, I live in a world where I have to question that. So do everything you can every day to keep me from questioning that. And if you're a policymaker, please do the right thing for people like Cristobal and for their friends like me.
Thank you very much, Heather. That was really wonderful. And it really touches my heart when people understand that there really is no color line, that we're all on the same side. We could all love one another and work together. And I really appreciate that.
Amen.
Our next testifier is Nicole Parks.
Secure the blessing of liberty, the right to health. Health is defined as the absence of illness or injury. According to the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, good health begins where a person lives, works, and plays. However, there are several common influences that can have a positive or negative impact on our overall health and quality of health. These influences have become known as the social determinants of health. Health factors or behaviors like smoking, clinical access, educational attainment, physical environment are the four broad segments of social determinants of health. Broken down further, education, meaning sometimes measured attaining a high school diploma or the higher education, like college. Food insecurity, unemployment, income inequality, access to a doctor when you need a doctor, like a specialist, safe, affordable housing, violent crimes in our neighborhoods, children in single-parent homes, and children living in poverty. When any or many of these factors are lacking, families are stressed and have poor total health outcomes. We can no longer care for people in segments, meaning mental, emotional, and physical health are all connected, and stress from any of these factors show up in our bodies. We can measure these things like vital signs, things like cortisol levels, your blood pressure or your heart rate, all can tell us or give us an indication that a person is under stress. Where we live impacts our life expectancy, the quality of water that we may have, and even our housing stock. For here in Chemung County, we're known to have some of the most beautiful Victorian homes still left. However, many of the housing stock is not just that old, but just as old as greater than 1978, when we had the laws passed about not using lead paint in our homes. Having lead paint or exposure to lead paint for children is especially dangerous, especially during their early years. A couple times before a child goes to preschool, a child is tested for their lead levels. And having high lead levels in children can affect how they learn. It can also affect how their behaviors. And some behaviors can become so severe that it can impact their school life experience. One thing that we know could help, and it's helped in some cases, but we don't have enough of these type of programs, are lead abatement programs. We're lucky here in our county that we do have a couple to help now landlords to help abate some of the lead that's in this older housing stock. And that's needed because removing lead from homes, especially these larger homes, it's very expensive and most people can't afford it. So they do things to try to cut corners, but the children wind up paying the price for that. So having access to those types of funding, we need those types of funding for those programs to help our kids be healthier and safe from lead. Living too close to manufacturing where they may be wasting some hazardous material, and maybe in the safest way they know how, but still can affect people that live close to those areas. Having code and local laws to help rezone areas and making it difficult or banning people from living a certain mileage away from those areas could help improve health outcomes for people who live in poverty. We also know that making sure that we have good quality trained professionals, going back to mental health. We know that to be a mental health professional, it takes a lot of training and it's expensive to educate these folks. And oftentimes when they graduate from school, they barely make enough money to pay off their student loans. We really need help in helping these folks so that they can help our people, especially folks, not just poor folks, folks that aren't poor are stressed too, and they are dealing with a lot of different things. And we just need folks that are high quality, highly educated, but we also need to make sure that we pay them an equitable wage so that they can be able to live a healthy life for themselves. So I end with this. Healthcare is a basic human right. It is a basic need. And we need to be fighting for and advocating for every single person to have health equity, meaning everybody has access to affordable health care. I'm in this for that reason. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nicole. That was beautifully detailed and very helpful to those of us that are listening. The right to health and a healthy environment was made very, very clear in all that you said, and I appreciate that. I am going to be the next testifier, also reflecting on health and healthy environment. When I think about environments, I also think about the racism that crosses over and intersects with environmental issues. So environmental racism has gone for a long time being unremarked. It is when marginalized people, people of color, poor people are disproportionately exposed to environmental hazards. It's poor people, it's people of color, whether they're poor or in middle class areas, are all exposed to these things. These areas are deliberately and calculatedly designated as places to put plastic incinerators, toxic waste dumps, coal plants, landfills, garbage dumps, toxic waste dumps, oil refineries, steel production facilities, bus depots, and everything that leaks out in one way or the other, toxins. 1.5 million pounds of chemicals flow seamlessly into the aforementioned communities on an annual basis, devastating the health of everybody in those areas. Cancer, cognitive birth defects, respiratory issues are the most noted and the most critical in those areas. Those trying to confront this crisis repeatedly have their voices muted. There are appeals that go to the Civil Rights Office of the EPA. 93% of those complaints get ignored or completely dismissed, and no one is taking care of it. It is, to me, it is a form of genocide. It is a form of mass extermination to constantly do this to communities, to deliberately do this to communities, to redline communities and designate them as some sort of holding ground for people who don't mean anything in our society. The policies and practices of placing the poor and people of color at risk is long-standing. This goes back to slavery, before slavery. This has gone on forever. And I think that now, or again, because history usually repeats itself, there has become an awakening to this situation. And I'm hoping that with this awakening, that more people are listening, that more people are standing up and doing things. Our racism represents, this kind of racism is also a form of systemic racism. Make no mistake about that. And we have to stay focused on this. When we are marching and fighting and protesting and writing our elected officials, do not leave this off the table. Social justice and ecological justice are inseparable. You must understand that. The injustices that happen to some people are injustices that happen to all of us. We are all on this planet together. No one is unaffected by this. No one. That's just the truth. Racial and economic marginalization is a crime, as far as I'm concerned. Each and every person who shares this planet deserves justice, deserves a right to health and a healthy environment. Justice is meant for all of us. Justice is meant for all of us. And all of us have to work on it together. Thank you very much.
That is beautiful. Now, if we could share the slide.
Part 4, the Poor People's Jubilee Platform, secure the blessings of liberty, the right to health and a healthy environment. Protect and secure health care for all, expand our public health care infrastructure and capacity, end medical debt, secure access to water and utilities for all. Declare climate change a national emergency, establish a Green Jobs Corps within the Jubilee Jobs Program. Make a full financial assessment of the environmental damage knowingly caused by fossil fuels and extractive industries.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much, Peaches. I am going to jump in really quick and we're going to go a little bit out of order simply because this is live. This is not Memorex. We had some speakers from SEIU 1199. And just because the forces of evil wanted to make this program work hard to get to our goals, we are now ready to introduce Tracy Beckman and Maggie Phillips. Take it away, ladies. Are you with us? I see the video, but I don't see a microphone. All right, lady. Oh, do we have a microphone? I see your beautiful faces, but I cannot hear you. Oh, we are connecting audio, but we cannot hear yet. That makes me feel better. Just one more moment, folks.
Over internet. It says it stopped.
Okay, I think we can hear you. We just need to get the video back.
Okay. I don't know how to get the video back. This is my second time doing this. Oh, there we go.
Excellent.
I think.
Yes. You got it. We see you, we hear you. That is a beautiful thing.
All right. Hi, my name is Maggie Phillips, and I work over at Highland Healthcare in Wellsville, New York. And we went to strike. Well, we did strike, and ever since then, we have been harassed, intimidated, threatened. And I actually ended up quitting my job because at work, it was such a hostile workplace. You can't walk down the hallway without another person with you, or they're going to make accusations, making stories up, which they did to 4 other girls. And those 4 other girls quit as well because of the intimidation. And I think we just lost another girl last night, I do believe. But my friend Tracy, she's still working there. And they keep, like, she's been getting written up for no reason. And that's one of the main reasons why I quit, is because they're making stuff up, doing whatever they want.
Yeah, they're not real fond of it when we flex that power, right? Absolutely.
Right.
Did you want to add anything else?
Tracy?
They offer us insurance that is so expensive no one can afford it. And they said that if we didn't like what they were offering, we could get it through the government at little to no cost. So they said that we also made plenty of money and we should feel lucky we have what we have. I was wrongfully suspended for 2 weeks over something that I did not do. And it was, after the investigation, it was unfounded and they did let me come back to work, but I've been written up for false allegations 3 times since then.
It was hard hitting. Yeah, absolutely. I'm very sorry to hear that that's happening to you ladies.
Well, thanks for listening to us.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. And we're sorry that it took us a little bit to get you here, but we're glad that you were able to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you.
right. Lily, I think we're going to move into part 5 now.
Provide for the common defense.
Provide for the common defense.
To provide for the common defense.
Good evening. Is it my turn to speak, Becca?
It is, ma'am, please.
Excellent. Hi, everyone. My name is Alexis Plus, and I'm the executive director and founder of an organization called Truth Farm in Broome County, New York. We work to raise awareness, reduce the stigma, and educate the public to reduce the harms of substance use. And this part of the Jubilee platform is something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm excited to have a few speakers on the panel that I work with personally, and hopefully LaToya Jenkins is queued up and ready to speak about her part. She'll be next.
Hi, my name's LaToya. I'm an activist and abolitionist in Chenango County. Today I'm going to speak on the New York State Sheriff's Association plan to build a bigger and empowered police state. On July 15th, the New York State Sheriff's Association released 10 legislative proposals as a response to the Black Lives Matter movement demands to defund the police and reinvest in community health, and a series of bills passed in New York State that banned chokeholds, opened police disciplinary records to public scrutiny, and created more police accountability mechanisms. These proposals have nothing to do with officer safety, as is their claim. It's a craven attempt to preserve their political authority. There were 10 that were brought up. 7 of them went to legislation. Turn resisting arrest into a felony offense. Allow cash bail. Make it difficult for a district attorney to reduce or drop the charge. Make it illegal to be within 25 feet of a cop. Increase the level of seriousness of various assaulting police officer charges. Make it a felony to throw things at the cops or have your spit end up on them. Make police a protected minority by covering police under hate crime legislation. Make it a potential felony to file a complaint against a police officer. Give police officers to sue anyone who accuses them of wrongdoing. Criminalize doxing a police officer. For example, make it a felony to post info about a cop online. Make it a felony to be within 100 yards of a cop's house or to follow a cop. Give $500,000 payout to cops who are injured or die on the job. And to turn May 15th into a state holiday to memorialize police officers who have died on the job. So what's the problem with these proposals? They make it more dangerous for people that are out there protesting, people that are the most marginalized, people that depend on the bail reform to be able to be at home with their families. Some of the charges they're trying to raise into felonies. So just you being out there protesting or falling down could turn you into a felon. Filming, the people who filmed George Floyd murder could be charged with a felony if these laws were to be passed. New Yorkers do not need a bigger police state. We need protection from the police and investments in public health. One of the outcomes of systemic racism is that Black people and other people of color have an increased vulnerability to premature death. The Southern Tier-wide People's Protection Plan Coalition is dedicated to listening and collectively developing effective responses to overlapping crises within our communities. As these proposals make painfully clear, we must start with ending racism and reducing our reliance on the police.
That's good.
Thank you, LaToya. And I am proud to say that Truth Farm, which is Justice and Unity for the Southern Tier, Plot and Citizens Action came together to create the coalition, the People's Protection Plan, and we did a multi-county tour of rallies to raise awareness about the New York State Sheriff's really outrageous proposals. And Latoya was a member of one of the organizations that joined that coalition and hosted a rally in Chenango County. And if anyone listening tonight or involved tonight would like to host a rally in your county, please contact us, because we would love to spread the word about these outrageous proposals. Yeah. As Latoya mentioned, 7 of those 10 proposals have made it to the state legislature in terms of proposed legislation. And so if this gets any traction, more of our rights will be taken away, and it will actually be a more dangerous place for both citizens and police officers. Next, we have Barbara Rivera.
Hi, everyone. My name is Barbara Rivera. I'm from Rochester, New York. I am involved with the community. I work with the citywide tenant union. My experience with the protests here in Rochester have been both beautiful and awful. Beautiful because I get a chance to be with community, with people from my community, people I normally wouldn't hang out with, share space with people, listen to music, poetry, songs, being involved with a beautiful bunch of individuals that want to change just as much as I want to change in this community. And then the bad, how RPD treated us. Like, we're there singing, we're there chanting, we're not destroying property, we're not getting crazy. You know, we come there together, we're upset, we're angry, we want justice for Daniel Prude. That's that. It is what it is, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't agree, but it is not going to stop. We're still going to be out there in the streets. RPD treated us awful. I personally was shot with pepper bullets. I've seen some comrades, some people, like everyone that had attended those protests and stood their ground because we weren't leaving. We were sharing this space to get justice for Daniel Prude, and that's what we want. And for RPD to come after us with tear gas, pepper bullets, pepper spray, even the materials that they were wearing, they're wearing like riot gear. We're not wearing riot gear. We're not there to be by any means violent. Even with military cars and that's just outrageous. It's ridiculous. Just for peaceful protesters, you shouldn't even be armed to the teeth for any kind of violent act. Police dogs? What do you need police dogs for? I got hurt with some pepper bullets. I still have bruising from May's protest. I still have bruising from even recently at the Daniel Prude's protests. Those 4 days I was there, and it was awful, traumatizing, emotional, draining. I'm still not okay. My throat still hurts. My body still feels a little off. My hearing is still bad from the flash bombs that they had there at the protest. I've never seen my city go through something like that before, and it felt like we were in a real life war. Us as civilians were being attacked, like our city was being taken over. Like, it felt like we were in war. And it's upsetting. It's emotional. I talk to my kids about what goes on. They watch the news. It's hard to tell our kids what's going on. It's hard right now for all of us, but we're getting through it, and it's not going to stop. Even till today, we're still out there in the streets protesting. We're still demanding justice for Daniel Prude, and Black Lives Matter. So that's all I really have to say. I wish everyone lots of positivity during this time. Yeah, defund the police. Thank you.
heartbreaking to hear, and it's been heartbreaking to watch. Barbara, we thank you so much in your community for your service, and it is absolutely outrageous that police are using, that police forces are used to infringe upon our constitutional rights. It's unreal and unfathomable to me that this is happening in America, that peaceful assembly requires police to be armed and militarized and attacking US citizens on US soil. It's outrageous and it shouldn't be tolerated. And we are sending love and solidarity and strength that you will all keep up the strength and power going forward. Next, I would like to introduce a friend and colleague and someone that we do a lot of conspiring and hell raising together here in the Southern Tier, Andy Pregaz from Just.
Thanks, Alexis. Is the PowerPoint that I sent ready? Oh, there it is. Awesome. Thanks, guys. So my name's Andy. I'm from Justice Union in the Southern Tier. Police militarization has been a decades-long trend. The push for more heavily armed police adopting a war mentality has gone hand in hand with over-incarceration, mass policing, and a resurgent racist war on drugs. Along with 24 law enforcement agencies around the state, the Broome County Sheriff's Department has within its arsenal a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle, an MRAP. It is one of 5 military vehicles owned by the sheriff. They came through the 1033 program, which gives military equipment to police departments. Next slide, please. This MRAP is a uniquely brutal piece of equipment, having been used now on 3 continents to terrorize people of color. First in South Africa to enforce apartheid. A South African comrade reported to me that the MRAP, along with the passbook, are the 2 most prominent symbols of that racist regime. Next, it went to the killing fields of Afghanistan. And now it is in Broome County, where it is used alternately as a prop to normalize militarism for children and as part of dangerous SWAT operations, which, as we know from statistics, are more likely to be carried out against Black people, a situation so tragically brought to light by Breonna Taylor's death. When protesters marched to the jail during the last uprising, we were met with a line of guards in the front, a line of riot gear behind them, and we knew that MRAP was not far behind. So we could not go up to the jail and be with our other community members who were locked behind those walls. Militarism abroad will always mean militarism at home. Next slide. They also received a number of rifles through the 1033 program, and the brutality in the Sheriff's Department does not end there. This is the same sheriff who reigns over a brutal jail regime that counts 11 deaths since 2011. Aside from routine beatings and medical abuse by guards and medical staff alike, the sheriff's jail uses restraint chairs 3 times more than any in the state, almost always against people with disabilities. For many years, Broome County has had the highest incarceration rate in the state. Next slide. And last year, the Metro SWAT team was awarded its own military vehicle. Next slide. In the last few months, however, a coalition of organizations, including Truth Farm, Citizen Action of the Southern Tier, Progressive Leaders of Tomorrow, and Binghamton DSA, organizations I am proud to work with, have sought to make the nationwide demands around defunding the police tangible. We call this DROC, and we are in the process of taking demands collected in Recreation Park, just around the corner from me, that had over 400 attendees back to the people. Next slide. We're asking folks what they would do with $1.2 million, with the $1.2 million annually spent on the 12 police officers added during Mayor David's administration. The alternatives suggested by the community are many, but they are exactly what you expect in the poorest city in upstate New York, Binghamton, a place where 1 in 3 people live in poverty, and a place that has seen its budget slashed for things like mental health and youth programs. But that's not all. By cutting just 40% of the jail budget from the county budget, a budget that has doubled in 15 years for a half-full jail, Broome County would have $12 million to invest in substance use disorder, daycare, and all the things our community actually needs and things that would actually make our community safer. Yet in the current 2021 budget, the Democratic county executive wants 2 more sheriff's deputies. Next slide, please. We're also demanding even just a semblance of police accountability, which we currently have none at the moment, along with an end to police in schools, curtailing widespread the widespread police surveillance, and a ban on excess military equipment. All of these being important to address militarism in our community. And yes, we're asking them to get rid of the tank. Next slide. We are going to push these demands this budget season and for many to come. We plan to fight the routinized disregard for human life with the simplicity of community budgeting. Our next action is packing the public Zoom hearing for the 2021 budget on October 14th. Please join us. I should also note that one of our fellow coalition members from the People's Protection Plan has recently been incarcerated in Delaware County in Delhi, and there's a rally tomorrow at 8:45 to support him, and he certainly deserves to be supported and show solidarity. Thank you all to all the attendees and to all the organizers. Thank you, and thank you, Alexis.
Thank you. Thank you. So as Andy mentioned, our coalition has been looking at the budgets locally for our county and also the city of Binghamton, and it is budget season across New York State. So I would really like to encourage everyone who is watching tonight and everyone who is involved in advocacy and activism to take a look at your city and county budgets. The mayor of the city of Binghamton, when he gave his budget address the other evening, actually had no issue saying out loud that 71% of the city of Binghamton's budget is spent on salaries of police officers. So 71% in a city that, as Andy mentioned, 1 in 3 families live in poverty, but 71% of the budget is spent on police force, which is absolutely outrageous. There is no better time than now for us to divest from police and reinvest in our communities. When we talk about defunding the police, this is what we're talking about: returning resources and funds to the communities who need them. And that will in turn reduce crime and make everyone healthier and happier. So that's what we're looking for. I believe now I am going to read, yes, thank you for putting that up. Part 5 of the Poor People's Jubilee platform is to provide for the common defense, reprioritizing resources. And the steps that we will take to do that is to end the culture of war, demilitarize our communities, implement fair taxes and penalties on the wealthy, corporations, and Wall Street, relieve the debts of those who cannot pay, end the practice of profiteering from crisis, and work to close the racial wealth divide. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight.
Thank you so much to all of our testifiers and our narrators. This was a wonderful program that really helped us to see why we need to work so hard to shift this narrative in this moment. With that, now is the time for the big ask. You guys knew it was coming. You knew I wasn't going to let you walk away without doing something. So we have a couple of different Google forms that we would like to drop in our chat right now. The first one, we are specifically talking to the folks who are here as legislators. The legislators, we are explaining that we cannot go back to the way things were before. Before the pandemic, New York had some of the greatest wealth inequality in the nation. Almost 10 million New Yorkers, over half of the population, were poor or low income, including 60% of our children and 2/3 of our New Yorkers of color. This pandemic is making all of these fissures so much deeper and so much more easily seen. So this first link is for the legislators, asking you to agree to support this platform, to say that these are the steps that we as a nation should be taking to get to that point. If you're not ready to do that tonight, we will be providing this link to you again next week, along with the link for the policy platform, and we ask that you seriously consider that. We are also here to ask our folks who are here on an individual level. We have another Google form for us, which is specific to individuals. If you follow through with this form, based on the city and zip code, it will target your state assemblyman or senator and tell them to endorse the policy platform. It will automatically generate a letter to your legislators and explain that you do agree that this is the way that we get there. So those are a couple of tools that you can use. You can also certainly see the Jubilee Policy platform on the Poor People's Campaign website. You can also go back and watch the footage from the June 20th event. All of these different pieces will help you to see how we got to where we are today. And now we would like to turn it over to Renee Sutton, who is going to talk a little bit about voter education, because right now is the time to be making these decisions, folks. Renee, are you with us?
I'm with you. I just unmuted my mic. Now I'm trying to turn my camera back on. And I don't, oh, there I am. Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, you should be able to see me shortly. I just clicked the button to restart. Ah, I see the little blue circle turning. So I'm going to try to be brief, and I don't see. Should I share my screen, or is she going to run my slides for me?
I think Lily has your slides. Is that right?
Yes, Miss Lily. Could you please load my slides, please?
And we're going to just do the slides, right?
Yes, just the slides, and I'll talk through my presentation. Ah, there we are. So, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I end where we began tonight. When these words were first written in 1787, they did not apply to all Americans. In fact, those words only applied to a small group of people based on wealth and race and gender. But our forefathers and foremothers have fought tirelessly through the civil rights movement, through the women's suffrage movement, and through other movements to empower poor people to remove poll taxes and other inhibitors to voting. And all of the things that we've discussed tonight about our policy platform objectives are hinged on voting. Next slide, please. Particularly, we're going to talk about, oops, I can't see my slide. Hold on a second.
I think Lily just hit a little hiccup.
She hit a hiccup. I have my slides on my laptop. If I can get it to advance on my laptop, I can at least talk from my laptop. Gotta love technology, people. Okay, now
Yes. Renee, would you like to share this from your screen?
I have lost my Zoom.
Okay, all right, I'm sharing it again. Sorry about that, everybody.
Okay, I'm on the second slide.
All right, here we go, and I'm presenting. All right, sorry about that.
No problem. I'm trying to get back my Zoom controls so I can see. I think you guys can still see me, but for some reason I can't. Oh. There we go. Now. Okay, so moving on to my conversation about voting, I do want to make a quick plug for everyone who has not yet completed their census to please do so. There's been a recent lawsuit filed in the state of California, which extends the deadline to apply for to complete your U.S. Census to October 31st, 2020. So why is the census important? One, it's required by the U.S. Constitution, but it also helps determine our voting rights and our voting district and how we're represented at all levels, local, state, and federal. And census counts provide the vehicle that they use to allocate monies that come into our communities for important things like HUD, vouchers, Medicaid, Medicare, education, road improvements, and a lot of other things that we need. And historically, poor people and people of color have been undercounted and underrepresented, including children. And so without an accurate census count, we could be putting more stress on our communities that need these valuable resources. So please, if you haven't, complete your US Census. I've included a link to a website on this slide and also later in my slide deck if you need to go there for more information. Next slide, please. So back to, okay, you're on slide number 3. So let me backtrack a little bit. So why do we vote? So voting is important because there are 2 ways that we get all of these things that we've talked about tonight handled. One is through the passage of legislation, and legislation is passed through elected officials, which happens through the voting process. The second way is possibly through the court system if the court deems an act or a policy to be unjust or illegal. And in the court system, those folks are either appointed by elected officials that you voted for, or as in New York State for our Supreme Court justice and some of our local judiciary races, the people actually vote for their judges. So when we think about how we get this done, voting is the vehicle through which this gets done. Now I'm ready to move to slide number 4, if it's available. And just know that you have a voice. We're here today because people use their voice to help us to get to where we are today. I'm on slide 4, please.
Lily, are we able to move forward through the slides?
I see her cursor moving. Uh-oh. What happened?
I have a feeling her system may be tired of sharing.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try to get on my computer to get to slide
I
number
also
4.
made you a co-host, so you should be able to screen share as well.
Okay. So can you all see my screen?
Not yet. Did you hit the share screen button at the bottom?
I just lost my Zoom. This is crazy. Okay, we're going to get through this.
We are.
We are going to get through this.
You want to drop the link in the chat? Oh, wait, you lost the Zoom. Lily, do you want to drop the link in the chat and I can share it on my screen?
How do you share?
There should be a green button towards the bottom that says share screen.
A green, I see the green button on the bottom. I am sharing my screen now. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
It says Renee has started sharing her screen. Double click to enter full screen mode.
Okay, I have highlighted the screen that I want to share.
And there should be like a blue button down towards the right corner.
A blue button towards. Now something popped up that says I'm now sharing my screen. Is that true?
Not quite yet.
Okay. It's green on my computer. I don't know what else to do.
Let me try it on mine. Hold on one second. Okay, can you see that?
Can I see what?
On the screen, do you see your presentation now? As I'm sharing my screen?
I cannot. Something has happened to my other Zoom. I don't know, every time I try to see what's happening. Now I can't see my Zoom controls. So I don't know what you see.
Can you see your presentation though?
I see my presentation and I see my Zoom controls at the top, but I don't see the little Zoom screen that shows me.
Okay, yeah, because now it's going to be just my screen that we're showing.
Okay, and which slide are you on your screen?
So I just started out on, all right, so we've been through the census screen, right? Now we've moved on to US, who can vote? US citizens 18 years old, slide 4. Is that where you want me?
Okay, your screen isn't showing.
Mine isn't?
No, it just says Renee Sutton has started screen sharing, but there's no, it hasn't started yet.
How about that? Did that change it?
No, it hasn't.
Oh, I'm sorry, Renee.
It is, you had it for a second.
Oh, all right, let's try it again. How about that?
Yes, now you do. Elmira's hope.
Yes.
All right, Renee, can you see that? I think we might have lost Renee. Oh, all right, well, perhaps we could make that available in the future. I'm sorry that didn't work out, Renee. But we do want to make sure everybody knows that in New York State, tomorrow is the deadline to register in this election. Make sure that we are, if you're going to do your absentee ballot, get that ordered very early. Make sure that you get it returned early. We know that there have been delays reported in several different parts of the system at this point. So I'm just trying to give Renee just another minute to see if she's going to be able to get back in. Well, all right. I'm sorry that didn't work out, but we will go ahead and turn it over to Pauline, our theomusicologist extraordinaire, for our closing song for the night. We really appreciate everyone who was able to make it out tonight. I think this was a really great program, and I think it was very helpful for us to hear from folks with lived experience tonight. So Pauline, are you with us?
I am. Hi, everyone. So we are going to close out, and this has been a really powerful evening with people sharing stories and narratives, and I am reminded of MLK's last speech where he said, for those who are caught up with what is right, if they are willing to sacrifice for it, there is no stopping point short of victory. There is no stopping point short of victory. We are caught up with what is right. So we're going to sing a movement medley song. It's an instrumental called Octavia. I love Octavia Butler, and I was very inspired by Octavia's writings. And in this movement medley, we are going to sing How the People Are My Reason. I Am Never Giving Up. It is a song that was created by the Peace Poets in collaboration with Black Lives Matter out in Oakland, California. We're then going to go down to the rich man's house and take back what he stole from us. Our humanity, our dignity is under our feet, and we are going to claim it together. And then we are going to sing about how we are a new unsettling force. So before we get into the movement medley, I want to share where we got this lyric, a new unsettling force. In 1967, Dr. King said, "There are millions of poor people in this country who have very little or even nothing to lose. If they can be helped to take action together," that's what we're doing right now, "they will do so with a freedom and a power that will be a new and unsettling force in our complacent national life." We are a new unsettling force, and we are here to work, and we are here to struggle with one another in that struggle. So we are going to start singing this song. Lily, can we pull up the lyrics? Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to kind of get in where we fit in. Here we go. Feel free to let me know in the chat if the sound is too loud. Sound on Zoom can be a little wonky. Does that sound good? The people are my reason. The people are my reason. The people are the reason I am never giving up. Cause you can't hide from freedom. You can't hide from freedom. You can't hide, no, you can't hide, cause freedom's gonna come. The people are my reason. The people are my reason. The people are the reason I am never giving up. Cause you can't hide from freedom. You can't hide from freedom. You can't hide, no, you can't hide, cause freedom's gonna come. So I went down to the rich man's house and I took back what he stole from me. I took back my humanity. I took back my dignity. It's under my feet. The people are my reason. The people are my reason. The people are the reason I am never giving up. Cause you can't hide from freedom. You can't hide from freedom. You can't hide, no, you can't hide, cause freedom's gonna come. So I went down to the rich man's house and I took back what he stole from me. I took back my humanity. I took back my dignity. It's under my feet, under my feet, under my feet. It's under my feet. Ain't gonna let no system walk all over me. We are the New York State Poor People's Campaign, a national call for more revival. We are a new unsettling force. We are here. We are powerful. We are here for liberation, and we have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We are a new unsettling force, and we are powerful, a new unsettling force, and we're here, a new unsettling force for liberation, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains. We are a new unsettling force, and we are powerful, a new unsettling force, and we're here, a new unsettling force for liberation, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains. The people are my reason. The people are my reason. The people are the reason I am never giving up. Cause you can't hide from freedom. You can't hide from freedom. You can't hide, no, you can't hide, cause freedom's gonna come. The people are my reason. The people are my reason. The people are the reason I am never giving up. Thank you. We are a new unsettling force.
Thank you to everyone. That was wonderful. So grateful for this program. So grateful for this group of amazing leaders and activists and organizers and folks from every piece of this program. Thank you so much. Hope to do it again real soon. We'll send you out another email in about a week with all the links and ask you again to encourage your legislators to push forward, because the only way we're going to win is forward together, not one step back. All right, everybody come off mute. Let's hear you. I said forward together.
Not one step back.
Come on, you can do better than that. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Woo! All right, thank you, team. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks.